apartment of mine. Since it's Halloween, I want to share with you a little passage, a little story about Florida. Specifically from Miami, a story regarding an initiation of a fraternity. So it comes from the book Spooky Florida, which you can find in the Coral Gables Library. And it's retold by Schlosser. Sorry, I'm killing that name, but I believe it's Schlosser or Schlosser. Very interesting. So let's go and find the passage. There we go. Alright, let's get to it. I boarded the bus in Miami, resigned to a long and boring crosstown trip. The bus was a local, and my stop practically the last one. I stared moodily out at this rainy city around me as a middle-aged man with a haggard face and a worn-out business suit plopped into the seat beside me and shoved his briefcase underneath it. "Are you a student?" he asked me as the bus lurked into heavy rush hour traffic. "Yes," I said shortly, not wanting to talk. I had a lot on my mind. My girlfriend had broken up with me over lunch this afternoon, and I wanted to brood about it. "I was in college once, a long time ago," the man mused, leaning back against the seat and staring around the crowd in the bus. It was a varied lot, from a mother of 3 to men in business attire to teenagers absorbed in their cell phones. "I used to belong to a fraternity. Do you belong to a fraternity?" he asked, voice and eyes suddenly sharp. The intensity with which he asked the question made me nervous. "No, sir," I said. I really don't have time. I'm pre-med and I have a lot of studying to get done so that I can get into grad school." "Good," said the stranger, relaxing again. "Never join a fraternity, son. They're no good." My fraternity had a brutal initiation rite. They'd take candidates out to a ruin of a house outside town that they said was haunted. They'd tie the fellows up and leave them there all night with the ghosts. Nasty. "If you believe in ghosts," I said dryly. I didn't. "I am a man of science, and I believe what science can prove." That went for religion as well as ghosts. Still, if I had been a praying man, I would have started right about then. This fellow, with his intense manner and 2 bright eyes, was making me very nervous. Me? I made it through the initiation all right, but a bloke who joined the next year didn't fare so well. All the creaking and moaning in that house, hour after hour, well, it turned his brain. About 2 a.m, he started screaming. He ripped out of the ropes, tying him down as if they were made of spaghetti, and turned onto the fellows who were tied up with him. He killed them both with a Swiss Army knife he kept in his pocket. Then he hung himself. It was a bloody mess, and I meant that literally, son. He looked at me with his 2 bright eyes, and I squirmed a bit, wondering if I should make an excuse to get off at the next stop. This guy was really creeping me out. Happened on the 3rd of December. I remember that date very well. The stranger continued, turning his attention across the aisle to a pretty teenage girl who was rapidly texting on her phone. Nobody in the fraternity could forget it, but it didn't end with a haunted house. No, indeed. On December the 3rd of the next year, one of the fraternity fellows who was responsible for the initiation of the crazy boy went crazy himself and shot his wife. It made the news. The next year, another one of that group flipped out and tried to run down his friends with his car. This also happened on December 3rd. "That's terrible," I said, edging my body closer to the window. I was definitely getting off at the next stop, and wished the bus driver would hurry up and get us there. A year passed without incident. The man went on, turning his bright gaze away from the girl to study the mother and her 3 children. 8 out of the 10 or so boys who participated in the fatal initiation all graduated from college that year. And one of them popped up on the news when he killed himself and his family on December 3rd. "Hurry up, bus driver," I thought, pushing my foot against the floor as if it were the accelerator. "Hurry up!" The next year, another former frat boy went crazy and drove his car off a bridge. The stranger continued, fiddling restlessly with the buttons on his worn gray business suit, his 2 bright eyes resting on a red-haired businessman speaking animately into a cell phone. And the following year, one of the graduated frat boys who joined the army tried to shoot up men serving in his platoon. Both events happened on December 3rd. Not good, I said at random, barely registering what I said. I was so jittery. Next year it was arson. Then murder again? And last year a former frat brother bombed a building in Chicago. All the tragedies happened on December 3rd. The same day the initiate went crazy all those years ago. It was like some kind of curse was killing off the men responsible for the death of this young man, the stranger said. There's only one man left of that group now. Only one. We were approaching the next bus stop, and not a minute too soon on my mind. As the bus slowed, a woman leaned forward from the seat behind us and said, "Excuse me, sir?" To the stranger riding beside me. "Do you happen to know the date?" She waved her checkbook at him in silent explanation for the question. "Why, yes, ma'am, I do," he said as I grabbed my backpack from underneath my seat and prepared to rise. "It's December 3rd. He smiled as he said it. Then he reached inside the pocket of his jacket and pulled out a gun. Well, I hope you enjoyed this story and that it didn't scare you that much. It's a really good story. And if you want to find out more about this book, like I said, it's in the Coral Gables Library. Or you can also find it online. Thank you for joining me tonight. And, well, sweet dreams.